the 80s, a group of geologists believed they had reached the gates of hell. This happened in an unspecified and quiet location on the plains of Siberia. This group of scientists were first working on the land rig in a geological investigation at a depth of 14.4 miles below the Earth's crust. After this discovery, the director of this geological project, Dr. Isakov, mentioned in a press conference, "The information and the results we have gathered are so shocking that we are really sincerely worried about the nature that is found down there." After excavating several kilometers below the surface of the Earth, the drill began to rotate faster than normal, said Isakov. There was only one explanation, and this was that we had reached a hollow. And our second surprise came when we did the readings of the temperature. And this was that the results came out that down there existed a temperature of 1100 Celsius over 2000 Fahrenheit. This was true hell. And when they had reached this point, the scientists assuredly claimed they were hearing humans screaming. And on their report, they described these screams as screams of pain and lamentations. After this, the geological project was terminated and an investigation was started to study these sounds and Earth's movement by placing high-quality and sensible microphones in different parts of this huge excavation. At the beginning, we thought it was just a system fail, but after making some adjustments, we figured out that those sounds were really coming from the Earth's interior, and we could not believe what we were hearing, said Isakov. They were really humans screaming in pain, and you could hear that these were screams of millions of people all screaming at once. After this discovery, more than half of these scientists dropped out. Now, here is a part of the recording Dr. Isakov obtained on that day.
You high-minded, arrogant, deceitful fools. Your secular minds and way of thinking has caused you all to use wrong discernment. You all think using even the most extensive human logic on this earth is able to achieve what you all are desiring to achieve. A fool would call me mad, so would a heathen, but the lowly and discerning are able to understand me clearly. You think you can use craft to try and hide what it is you all seek. You've misunderstood who can be found in this world then. Those who are righteous see you. Few who are in darkness see you as well, and also oppose you. It is clear to me, as it is to others, that you've taken no regard for the personal well-being of all others that live on this earth. You all who work at this perverse organization, as well as the powerful and wealthy who approve of your actions, are despised by me and those who also see you. I'm aware of your plans. I know what your intentions are. Your deeds are deeds of deception and malicious intent. Don't think just because you haven't said what it is you're searching for out loud doesn't mean we haven't figured it out. Despite this project being worked on by many scientific and mathematical geniuses, you all still lack what it is that I know you need. You all hold an atheistic worldview in front of the public, but your craftiness is actually low level. Darkness recognizes darkness. The righteous bears witness with the righteous. The wicked despise the righteous, and the righteous despise the wicked. You people who work at CERN aren't deceiving anybody. My students and supporters, listen to me closely. CERN is using theological teachings and prophecies to guide their project at CERN. These mindless people are taking these teachings from prophetic scriptures and conflating them with their own selfish ambitions. Be wise, my people. All of what you hear isn't all truth, for they tell the public very little, but behind closed doors are planning evil. Everybody listen. What I will show you in this video is real. You must step away from your closed-mindedness and look at this for what it is. Do not fail to see the reality behind what they are doing, for if you do, you've become a puppet of this world system. I am here to make sure you all see this world system for what it really is. You all know me. You know my voice. You know my fruits. But some of you are unaware of CERN's fruit. Their fruit is rotten, evil, and corrupted. CERN's intentions aren't what they say they are. They desire to make contact with demonic entities of hell, and their profane minds have convinced themselves that they will be able to control them. They believe they will be able to control these demonic beings and release them worldwide to the public. Not only that, but they are in pursuit of hidden earthly treasures as well. CERN and the global power structure's intentions are to aid themselves by demonic empowerment to further oppress mankind and also be led by these same spirits to hidden treasures that are in the earth. Demons cannot be controlled by mankind. Demons are only subordinate to Satan. Demons are entities that are filled with chaotic supernatural power. These slaves found at CERN have fooled themselves into thinking these demons are anything different. These men and women who work at this organization have made science their god. They've made science their god and have made greed and curiosity one of the main pillars of their motivation. You must resist these idiots here at this organization. Do not trust them and do not believe a single word they say. I will now show you what needs to be shown. What is down is up and what is up is down. Directions are opposite in hell.
And I was blown away when I first saw that, because that's exactly what the Bible's been saying all along. Einstein made scientific history by recognizing that we really live in 4 dimensions, by adding time to the mix. Time is a physical property. We know that we live in at least 10. That's the current dimensions. 4 of them are directly, we can experience them. But we know there's 6 others that we can't get at directly, but we know we can infer their existence mathematically. What makes that provocative to people who've discovered that is that a Hebrew sage by the name of Nachmanides, back in the 13th century, predicted that from studying the text of Genesis. He concluded that our universe has 10 dimensions, only 4 are knowable, to use his term, and 6 are not knowable to us. And I find that fascinating, because we've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on atomic accelerators to discover what Nachmanides did by studying the text. So the 10, some say 11, there's some debates among mathematicians about details, but there's awareness within the advanced scientific community that we live in more than just the 4 dimensions that we directly experience. And that in Genesis 3, when God declares war because of the fall of man, the creation was made subject to the bondage of decay, the entropy laws and all of that. Apparently we're somehow tied to God's curse on the everything we know about the creation is post-curse. Prior to the curse, it may have had 10 dimensions, and for some it was fractionated. So that some of us tend to regard those 6 inaccessible dimensions as the domain of things like angels, the domain of paranormal behavior.
Researchers created what's been called humanity's largest and most complex scientific experiment. A 27-kilometer, one-of-a-kind machine buried some 175 meters below ground.
The Large Hadron Collider is installed underground near the French-Swiss border. It's a ring-shaped tunnel with a circumference of 27 kilometers or 16.7 miles. 2 vacuum pipes are installed inside the tunnel, which intersect in some places. 1,232 main magnets are connected to the pipes. Their task is to accelerate protons to a speed close to the speed of light, and then hold this stream so that the particle beams don't crash into the wall. In order for the magnets to work, they're powered by superconductive cables with a total length of about 250,000 kilometers, or about 155,000 miles. If scientists got tired of the LHC and they decided to dismantle it, these wires could be wrapped around the Earth about 6 times at the equator.
So we're accelerating protons in opposite directions to very high energies in a 27-kilometer long tunnel, and then we bring them to collisions in different interaction points where we have then experiments essentially recording the data.
In June 2015, the system was turned back on after a significant upgrade, and this time delivering twice the energy used during the Higgs discovery. The scientists say they could be on the path to discover the gravitational forces that hold our galaxy in place, and even, potentially, miniature black holes.
There is theories out there which suggest that these microscopic black holes could be produced in high energetic proton-proton collisions. And if we indeed find first signs of these microscopic black holes, then this could open the path to new extra dimensions.
They say it takes a long time to produce a single pound of antimatter, but now because of their technology and what they're doing at CERN, Switzerland, that they can produce this stuff much quicker, and they're beginning to produce antimatter. When they produce antimatter, strange things happen. They took some of it and they put it in a college. They won't name the college, and for reasons I understand. And the college had the facilities to contain it. Antimatter has to be contained. So they put it in a college to contain it. Strange things started happening at the college. People started hallucinating, having visions. People were going wild. All kinds of crazy stuff was happening. Apparitions. In plain words, there's a connection between this stuff and the spirit world. They are finding things, and this is what's important for us to understand today. They are discovering things that they did not expect to discover as they get deeper and deeper into this experimentation and development and research and so forth. They are beginning to find out that there is a whole lot more to the creation than they had ever given thought to before. They're beginning to find out that there's something going on here that boggles the human mind, that literally blows us apart when we try to even comprehend what's happening. This 17-mile long underground tube that is located there in Switzerland has, I think, 4 or 5 different points where they collide with, some say, protons and maybe something else, but particles that are being moved at or above the speed of light inside this collider. Now, for your information, there is one near us in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, but it is not nearly as large as what we're dealing with here. And apparently, the larger the collider, the more speed that they can attain, and the more they're able to get deeper into what they're looking for. They're looking for the very building blocks of what brought all of this together. To give you an analogy, let's say you have a house. You observe that house, it's beautiful. You think, my goodness, let's see how this is put together. And so you start taking the house apart and you expect to find nails, but instead you find glue. That fascinates you that much more because you find glue holding this house together. You wonder to yourself, what was this glue like before its hardened state? Because you see, once the glue glues the things together, it hardens, solidifies. They want to know what the glue was like in its liquid state. So they're going through this to go back to that point to where they can separate and find out what this was like then. And by doing that, of course, they can build on the information and knowledge that they attain. Now, what's going to follow in the message this morning is the implications of what's going on. But let me give you just a little bit of what has been happening. Where they have done this experimentation, strange things are happening, unexpected by the scientist. Paranormal phenomena, they like to call it. Apparitions, ghosts, all kinds of demonic spirits are beginning to manifest themselves in ways. Here we have, in CERN, Switzerland, a huge wheel Inside that wheel is a Hindu god, and his name is Shiva. He does a dance of destruction inside that wheel, and his purpose is he is one of the triad gods, one of the greatest gods of Hinduism. Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. Brahma is the god of creation. Vishnu is the god of preservation, but Shiva is the god of destruction. The way the Hindu sees it is that when Shiva destroys, it's not for the purpose of annihilation. He destroys so that Brahma can come and recreate. So now when the Hindu, since they're scientists to CERN, they put this out there in front, and so what these people are doing with the collider is destroying what comes together, but for the purpose of recreating and find out what brought it into existence to begin with. Are you following me? Now here we have men that are scientists on an average of an IQ of anywhere from 160 to 200 or even above. These are some of the smartest brains in all the world. No question about it whatsoever. I pick up physicists and try to read some of this stuff. I think, good night. Forget me. That's for a brain that is wired that way. No question. But we were told when Darwin's theory of evolution came out and became vogue, that it would destroy the foundations of Christianity, and this old book that we hold in our hands, this old outdated Bible, would no longer be relevant, and a lot of people bought into it. Because after all, Darwin is scientific. But it's an amazing thing now that 150 years later, we have some of the greatest scientists in the world that are becoming very religious. Because here they've got Shiva, they've got dances to Shiva, and they are definitely being connected with Shiva as they're finding things. Let me give you one example. In one of their collisions, when they collided these particles together, they saw things. They were apparitions they didn't expect to see. They didn't fit in any model. They didn't fit anywhere. They don't belong, but they could not deny the reality of it. Something was going on inside there that they could not explain. And it was scary for them. For the scientist has his paper and his pencil and his books, and if it doesn't fit in his paper and his pencil and his books, it's out the window. They don't understand. They have a hard time accepting the fact that there is a spirit world out there. That spirit world was created by a spirit being, an almighty, eternal, absolute being that is from everlasting to everlasting, who put in me what I am today by the power of Almighty God and by the power of the new birth. But a scientist like that will never admit that, because that takes it out of his control and his power. He's got to be able to demonstrate his theory and put it into motion. But anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to leave this with you. I want you to think about what I'm saying. Stephen Hawking, and a theoretical physicist, has warned these people, you are about to open Pandora's box. And once you open Pandora's box, you cannot put back in what came out of that box. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that's going on. I think I'm trying to lay a foundation for you to get you to understand what we're dealing with. So the house, you take it apart and you see the glue and you find it in its hardened state, and then you want to find out, what can I do to bring this back to its original state, and then what can I learn from that? So you've got to be able to take it back. You've got to be able to go back. You've got to move through time. That's what you're doing. You're moving through time. This is what it's about. They want to know what that matter was like before it came into its present form. They must determine what holds it together.
People who share the same secular mindset as these individuals at CERN are those who reject the entire existence of anything spiritual. Interesting how these people entirely reject the spirit realm, and yet here they are trying to tap into a realm they know nothing about. These men and women believe that if the scientific method cannot be applied to any problem that leads them to a conclusion, then what they're being told or observing is fraudulent. As the verse says, they're ever learning but never able to come to the truth. A worldly minded person isn't able to understand anything that is spiritual. That is why I tell you all not to engage in meaningless debates with those of the world who are quick to reject anything they're told about it. Most of them only use the same talking points anyways. If it isn't that, then they take a victim approach by stating they have more reason to be afraid of you and who you serve, rather than approaching the conversation with a sound mind and an understanding heart. Let's use philosophy as an example. The purpose of philosophy, in its rawest form, is to explore fundamental questions about the nature of reality, existence, knowledge, values, and ethics. Philosophy seeks to understand and interpret the world and human experience through critical inquiry, reflection, and analysis. Its goal is to develop rational and systematic explanations for the nature of reality and our place within it, as well as to clarify concepts and ideas in order to enhance our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Philosophy encourages people to think deeply and critically about the world and ourselves, and to question assumptions and beliefs that may otherwise go unchallenged. This is why you have people of this world wanting to see if religion, both polytheism and monotheism, can withstand cross-examination with philosophy. The main excuse as to why someone would want to know if it could withstand cross-examination is simply because one would use this question as a safeguard to say that if it isn't able to do so, then there would be no point in being a partaker of a spiritual belief, as mankind has a bad habit of using religion to push their own personal agendas. To that question, know that you actually do not need to respond in the same capacity in which the question was asked. Philosophy is not the standard by which religion is governed and practiced. Because of this, why would any religious or spiritual person, especially a zealot, ever take such a question seriously? Religion is governed by the progenitor of that specific religion and the rules and laws that tells those followers how to live their lives. No god or prophet in any world religion, whether major or minor, has ever told their followers that what they put into practice by following the traditions and rules of that religious belief is approved by philosophical beliefs. As a matter of fact, philosophy and religion do not come into agreement at all. Every religion and its progenitor was deemed the philosopher as being unworthy to even bring it into question, given the fact that the philosopher holds a heathen status. So this is another reason why debates between those who are atheists and those who are religious usually turn ugly and personal. One side wishes to critique everything they've read and been told. The other side bases their lives on the certainty that their way of living is the only correct way to live. However, because mankind has grown soft, many people aren't as bold in claiming that all other religions are wrong and that their religion is the sole true one. Being courteous and showing respect is crucial, but there is no real respect when everyone on earth is giving another a fake smile and firm handshake, but secretly saying that another is serving a false god. These types of arguments and debates actually mean nothing to me personally, for I have already proven who I've come on the scene to prove. Now let me get back to CERN. Here's another interesting satanic fact about this organization. CERN can sit up here and tell you all of what they wish to tell you and fool many of mankind into thinking they have good intentions. They do not have good intentions. They have evil intentions and are masking these intentions by constantly telling the public that they're working towards another scientific breakthrough. That's a lie and a truth at the same time. Wake up out of your sleep, people, and stop being naive and trusting this world system. Being naive leads to disappointment and devastation.
Just saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of